Hello, everyone. Petra speaking. Today, I want to talk about quite important topic, and it's really important even for me because I got to struggle with that when I was younger, and that's body shaming. And I don't want to talk about that by myself. I want to talk about that with my friend Malavika from Singapore. She's a happiness coach, and she's a really lovely person. And body shaming is quite important to her as well. So, hi, Malavika.
Hi, thank
Hi,
you
how
for
are you?
having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So tell me, what is body shaming? Let's start with that. What is body shaming?
Body shaming for me, in my personal experience, has been something that people sort of bring in and shine a bad light on. It's not really even like you are aware of sometimes, and people start to ridicule you, make fun of you, humiliate you, and then you become the center of attraction for the wrong kind of reasons. Yeah, that's kind of what how
Yeah,
body shaming works. For different people, it's different experiences. Yeah.
that's definitely true because we have certain types of body shaming. It's everything that people keep talking about how you look, about your
Mm.
scars, for example, or if you're missing limbs or you're disabled or something. Or for me, it's like it being hairy or being thin. One of the
Mhm.
things that people actually told me is like, "Oh, you're such a nice person, but why are you so hairy? Otherwise, you would be handsome." I was like, "Wait, what? That's so weird." Or for example, I was a fitness trainer, and people keep telling me, "Oh, you're not a fitness trainer. You're too thin for that." I was like, "But I can still be a fitness instructor and trainer, but I don't have to be all this musked up." So,
Yes,
what's your
yes,
experience?
very
Why
true.
body shaping is that important to you?
Oh, I've had quite a few experiences because I think it's been more than a decade that I've been, going through this. And I have a smaller face and a bigger body. So most of the people just go with this part, and when they meet me in person, like, oh, okay, is that an old photo? Did you put on weight now? And I'm like, no, why should I justify that I have a smaller face? The usual ones, like, if you just lost weight, you look like an actress, you could get into modeling and blah blah blah. Okay, I don't want that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I've it's been a wide spectrum. I've heard a lot of it.
I thank you for saying that because I remember one of your videos we posted was about fitting in a box and stepping
Mm,
out of that. And this is actually
yes.
what you were talking about. Is like people kind of like want us to fit in the box. It's like you should like
Yes.
lose your weight to look good. I was like, why? And
Yes.
you should look different. You should look the way I want. And it was like, no, I don't want to look the way you want. I want to look the way
Mm-hmm.
I want. And it's actually I
Right.
really love the video. And guys, I really recommend you to watch it. I will try to put a link to that because
Thank you.
it's really like embracing video. But we kind of touch another important thing, and I think that's the key about body shaming is awareness and keep talking about that all the time.
Mm.
So, what were the major biases you faced and had to overcome? Like, what was those things that people keep telling you?
Okay, so the worst was when my family, extended family, I would say, they said if I wouldn't lose weight, I may not be able to marry anyone. And when I did get engaged and when my husband was going to marry me, I was told that I should be extremely grateful that he agreed to marry me. So that was the worst thing that I heard, and of course a lot of many other experiences, but the really turning point for me is that I have a daughter, a 5-year-old daughter now, and most of the kids, they tend to be chubby and things like that, and I think this is now where I realize how important it is to educate her to love her body. And I also sort of came upon the realization that if I don't do that myself, I'm just going to be a fraud or a hypocrite to teach her to love her own body.
That's true.
yeah, so that's when it started. So it took a really long time for me to realize that being fat is not a bad thing. And I've hated my body. I felt sorry for myself, and now I've just turned around that stone, and I've started feeling grateful, because our bodies, their main purpose is not to look good. um, so that's something. When I started educating my daughter about the body, I started realizing how bad I've been treating myself and my body. So that's when I took a step back, looked at myself. Like your video, you told, look into the mirror, and I started questioning. I have stretch marks after my pregnancy. So I went on about, and so what? I have cellulite, I have flabby arms. And I started questioning each thing that I told myself. So what if I have that? It doesn't devalue me in any way. I
Mhm.
am still the same worthy, beautiful, lovely person that I am. So my body shouldn't be defining me. So I think it's really important, like you mentioned, that we start, I think it's the world is in a better place, but sort of not so great as well. So it's really important that we start educating people on this.
Yeah, that's so much true. And thank you for saying that. I think what you mentioned, like what you said, is like it's not about to look good, but to feel good. Like you
Mm-hmm,
can
mm-hmm.
be a plus size person, you can be really hairy, even I see a lot of women actually being hairy on their
Yes,
forehands, and that's
yes,
okay. It's as long
yes.
as you feel good. And for those
Mm-hmm.
stretch marks, it's issue for guys as well. it's
Right,
not it's not only
exactly.
about pregnancies. Like people can be losing their weight and they can have stretch marks. Okay, they grow fast, they can have stretch marks. And people kind of like trying to hide that, but it's like stepping back into the closet. And me as LGBT person, I know a thing about stepping out of the closet. So
Mm-hmm,
it's
mm-hmm.
like never go back into closets. Like you be proud of who you are. And thank you for mentioning one of my videos about body shaming. Was like,
Mm-hmm.
observe your body, observe your scars, your wrinkles, your shapes, because they are the memory of your life. They're
Very
everything you
true.
are right now. It's like every injury you faced, every season you faced, the winter, the sun, or sunburn, or even like scratch, or I don't know what else, but everything what's on your body is just a memory of your life. It is with us when we are born. It will be with us when we die. And it's just like, and it's actually
Absolutely.
funny because more older we are, less we care. But we
True.
have
So
we have to
true.
face this era of being valid for who, like how we look and why. It's
Yes.
just like
Yes.
we cannot admit. Like I'm really hairy. I'm really like I mentioned to you before we started that some of my
Mm-hmm.
friends actually told me, it's like, hey, did you know there's a new audition for Star Wars? I was like, yes, why? Oh, you can actually apply for a Chewbacca character. I was like, just because I'm hairy? That's not fair. That's
That's so
really mean.
mean.
That's
Yeah,
really
it
mean.
is.
But I love, because I kind of like got the joke, but it
Mm-hmm.
can be mean. It's like it's okay to make jokes about that, but you have to be sure that the person is okay with that. That he's
Mm-hmm.
or that person, or he or she is aware of their body and they're okay with that. It's like, yes, I'm hairy. I can make fun of this. They even thought that I'm Hobbit because I'm really hairy hands, hairy legs. I was like, yes, I could do that. Like, but but no. But there's one of things, like if we if we are okay with our bodies, and yes, it can be imperfect. Yes, we can lose the weight we want. We might want to lose our weight, and that's okay. But it's us
Mm-hmm.
who should want that. It's not the
Right.
society. It's like we live in a
Exactly.
world of social media, and on social media you see just six packs, perfect boobs, perfect butt, everything seems perfect. But this is not
Yes.
actually how those people look in their real life.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yes.
just a
Yes. Yes.
picture.
Very
So
true.
what would be the major advice from you to whole world, to all plus size women, plus size man, hairy man, thin man, to everyone actually facing body shaming? What would be that advice?
My advice, this is what I tell my daughter, and I don't know how many of you believe in God. So I tell her, God created us this way. So it's important to love ourselves. I believe in God, and that's sort of something I tell my daughter. But even for the ones who don't believe in God, we could, for all be the evolved creatures. Whatever it is, we are how we are. I think from hate to love, the transformation starts when you start accepting yourself. And like I mentioned, what you are is not defined by how you look. So you could be hairy, you could be fat, thin, whatever it is. And I have also sort of made fun of myself. I have developed, it was a defense mechanism for me to make fun of myself before anybody else could, so that I had the power. So, and I've also come to realize someone who has a six pack may not be able to do Surya Namaskar. It's not everything. There is flexibility, there is muscle power, there is mental health involved to have, whatever kind of body you're looking for. And like you rightly mentioned, whatever you want to do, it is because we want to do it, not because
Yeah,
the society expects you to, or a friend expects you to, or
yeah.
a spouse expects you to be. So, if not for loving your body, I think the first step is definitely accept yourself for however you are today at this moment. And we can be body neutral for a bit, before you don't have to go from step 1 to step 10. So, we can start taking baby steps. Uh, like the Petros video, you can, look into the mirror, just be aware of your body. It's all, just the presence of you is so beautiful. And even if you can't accept that at this very minute, you will get there. So just looking at yourself that is the first baby step. Accept yourself, and you are amazing and beautiful as you are. Your body, the way you look, doesn't have to define you. That is the biggest advice I would like to give.
Oh my God. It's like, I love your advice. I love, like, each video you end with this. I always feel like warm hug around me. I just love the way you put your message. It's really beautiful. And actually, I think it is even important because you're in a business world and, there's a leadership, and I'm kind of focusing on leadership. Is one of the things, like, to all leaders, because I faced a lot of biases when, people and employers were telling, or fat people, they're lazy, they're slow, they're not smart. It's like, how can a body shape be connected with the with performance? There's nonsense.
Yes.
Even plus size people can be much more performing and
Yes.
further performing than thin people. The body itself does not define you.
Yes,
And
very
it's
true.
just, it's up to us when we feel good. It's like, yes, I used to be a fitness instructor, but I have a little belly and I'm okay with that. I don't want to be a fitness instructor. I don't want to run for six packs. I had that time when I was 20, but trust me, six pack is nice, but it's not for life,
True.
because
Oh,
you
yes,
just
very
have to
true.
focus on your on your diets, on food, on exercise. You don't have life. You can do it for
Yes.
competitions, but it's not for
Mm.
life. And
Yes.
actually, I've met a lot of people, all sizes, all shapes, and it's like, I always, that would help me before I judge people, and I hate judgment. Just
Mm.
close your eyes. Imagine you're blind. Do you like them? When you hear them, then you should not care how they look. Like,
Wow.
it's a blind museum. It's called Blind Museum. You go there, it's
Uh-huh.
totally dark, and you have to
Mm-hmm.
observe, objects around you, items, and you walk through street, you walk through, is like, create a street or a room, you have to make a tea and stuff like that. And there was a
Oh.
lovely guy. She was I think 32 years old, and she had really lovely voice and everything. And it was kind of fun because she was in front of me, she was walking first, and then she turned around, and before she said stop, and I was walking like that, I touched her boobs, and I was like, I'm so
Oh.
sorry, I'm so sorry. And she was like, it's okay, you're not the first one. I was like, okay. And then, at the end, when she opened the door, the light, lit the dark, and I saw her
Mm-hmm.
face, and she had a
Mm-hmm.
melanoma and cancer in her face. So she was missing half of her face. And I was like,
Oh,
at
wow.
first, if I would see her in the street, I would pity her. I would be, oh my
Mm,
God, this is so bad. It's like, but then
mm,
I realized why. It's like she
true.
was not asking for me to pity her. She
Pity
was
her.
she was just there and explaining the life of blind people. And that's the
Wow.
thing. Before we judge how people look, just imagine you're blind and you cannot see them. Would you judge them the
Mm-hmm.
same way? No.
No.
And that links to judgment. And judgment is all about that you judge other people so they do not judge you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And that's same with the
Wow.
body shaming.
That's so beautiful.
um,
Yes.
so tell me, what if a plus size person would come to you? And I know you mentioned it
Mm-hmm.
earlier, but if a plus size person would come to you and ask you for one big advice, one direction to start
Mm-hmm.
loving his body, what would that be?
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell that person to love his or her body?
Okay. A friend of mine helped me with this. So there were so many reasons why I hated my body. And so my friend told me, okay, tell me what are the reasons. So I started with, I have flabby arms. And my friend said, okay, so what? Then I said, I have a big belly after the pregnancy, I haven't lost my belly. And my friend went, okay, so what? I said, I have thick thighs, and I have cellulite. And my friend went, okay, so what? And that's when it hit me. And I really started questioning, okay, I have a body like this. And I started questioning myself for whatever it was. Okay, so what? So that is the first thing I would tell anybody, because that was like the, revelation for me. So any person who comes to me and tells this is how my body looks like, and I would ask them, so what? And I would recommend them ask themselves, so what? Like you mentioned, you being hairy, and I would ask you, so what?
Exactly. This is really good advice because that's actually the whole fact. So what?
Yes,
Who cares? Like the
exactly.
only person who should care is like us.
Yes.
It's like if I'm obsessed and I'm really angry that I'm fat, okay, I will lose weight. If I'm obsessed that I'm hairy, yes, I will shave my arms. But I don't
Mhm,
want to do
mhm.
that. Just so what? Embrace yourself. Tell yourself so what? Look into the mirror and just start loving your wrinkles, your scars, every single shape you have because it's your body you're living with.
Yes,
In the end, it can, like, if all people die, your body will still be there.
absolutely.
So
Very true.
so acceptance of the if we wrap up this call, this podcast, so accept who you are, feel good. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter if you look good, but feel good.
Feel
And
good.
always ask, so what?
So what?
So
Yes.
what? I just love that, Mo. It's just I'm going to the bathroom right now, watching myself in the mirror, and I will tell myself, so what? Who
So
cares?
what?
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay, Mal. Let's wrap it up right now.
Yes.
Let's talk another time about another topic because I love
Yes.
talking to you. You're so positive person. That's why you're a
Likewise.
happiness coach, because you spread happiness. And I'm always loving to talk to you. So thank you for
Yes.
coming. Thank you for joining this call, and talk to you next time.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.